Those guys are idiots. A lot of that stuff is fake.
Really? I would never expect that answer.
Will it be a serious amount of money? Yeah, it's got to be a serious amount of money because we're going to be following this diamond around. It's going to be fun.
You either have to trust your jeweler or you have to make sure it's GIA certified.
$10,000, fantastic. Average client has a budget of near $5,000, $1,500. Much money is reasonably possible.
What was the best way for people to cash out? Was it gold or diamonds?
Have lost a shocking amount of money.
And welcome back to 3D Media Live Podcast. Today I have a special guest, Anthony from Forever Faithful Diamonds and moderncarats.com. And Anthony's a jeweler and gemologist, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And how long have you been in jewelry business in general?
I've been in the industry since 2008. I've been on my own in the jewelry industry since about 2010.
Oh, wow. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of things change in the industry.
Yeah, I started in this industry at the lowest point in the market and got to kind of ride the wave.
What was like the wildest time? Since was it during COVID or?
No, actually I would say the hardest time in this industry was after the financial collapse. So instead of making jewelry and selling jewelry, I was buying more jewelry than I was selling. So I was buying off of the streets. I put 40,000 miles on my car in less than a year. And I was driving from here to Vegas to Arizona and back and just buying gold, buying diamonds, buying whatever I can get my hands on, bringing it back and flipping it. I was buying pawn tickets at one time. You know, wow. People setting their stuff into pawn, and they were only getting 30-40% of the value of their item. I was giving them another 15-20% on top to buy their ticket, take their items out and go and take it, melt it, do whatever I need. But it was, I looked at it as kind of doing a service in this industry because at the time people needed money, you know, so that was part of my service was to be able to give people as much money as reasonably possible where others were taking advantage. You know, I'm not allowed to take that advantage.
Right. What was the best way for people to cash out? Was it gold or diamonds or?
Holding gold is always going to be best. Diamonds, there's more of a gray area in value.
And also volatility, as I imagine now, right? Because of lab diamonds.
Now it's the natural diamond industry is in a very interesting and unstable place. So, and natural diamonds, well, depending on the area of natural diamonds, diamond prices have gone down. So lower quality, smaller size, natural diamonds have lost a shocking amount of money.
How much would you say since you started?
So let's say a 1 carat diamond from when I started was between $4,000 and $9,000 for medium quality to extremely high quality. Now for medium quality, it's like half.
And that's for natural.
And that's for natural. So that's like a $2,000 1 carat natural diamond. This is my cost.
So price is half,
yeah,
essentially.
So prices have halved. My cost has gone down by 50%. Yeah.
And the lab, as far as I understand, they're also like going down in value every month. Is that true?
They've stabilized.
They've
stabilized because at the end of the day, it takes so much energy to make a lab created diamond. You know, so it's not like you know, you go 3D print one. It takes to make a 1 carat diamond takes like a between 3 weeks to a month just to grow the diamond. And that's a lot of energy. Imagine how much energy it takes to create a natural diamond coming out of the mantle of the earth, 90,000 degrees under pressure. You have to create that same environment on the surface of the earth. So these machines, they have a half-life. And then to create the diamond takes time and energy. So the amount of energy it takes to make that diamond is going to be part of your costs in making a lab-grown diamond. So you have the machine that is going to wear out, and then you have the time it takes and the energy it takes. Then
There's
you have
also
to
some
cut the diamond.
labor involved, right?
Exactly. So you still have to cut the diamond and make it beautiful. So natural and lab-grown diamonds are graded the same way. So you have cut, you have clarity, you have polish, you have symmetry. There's about 3,000 other things, but when we talk to clients, we're usually talking about the basic, the 4 Cs, and kind of giving that. But I'm looking at so many different factors when I'm looking at diamonds before I even show a client. I'm usually showing a client 2 or 3 diamonds. I've probably looked at between 60 to 90 diamonds before I brought 3 into my office. So there's just so many different factors. Now, when it comes to, after you make the diamond, you have to cut the diamond. And then after you cut the diamond, you have to go get it graded because, I'm only selling diamonds that have been certified. So
GIA certified or different?
Either GIA or IGI. Those are for lab created diamonds. IGI is a little bit more cost effective. And then since I'm only selling extremely high quality on the lab grown side, then IGI is totally fine because the difference between DE and F is marginal. And then VS1 plus, so VS1, VVS2, I mean, these are really, with your naked eye, it's impossible to be able to see the clarity characteristic. And I will still confirm that. I still look at every diamond under a loop and look for the clarity characteristics, make sure that I'm not going to have any comebacks. I don't want any return. I accept returns. So I don't want any returns. So I need to make sure these are the world's greatest diamonds. And then that way, when you're with your wife or fiance at a dinner table, hers is the most brilliant one. When I sell 1 ring, it usually brings me 5 more clients because they'll be sitting around the dinner table and all their friends are looking at their ring. Oh,
it's
how
all about
come
referrals.
hers is shinier? Yeah, it's all about referrals. I spend very little money on marketing. So it's all just, word of mouth. Again, 1 ring brings me 5, and that's because of the quality that's provided, the value. If you go to the average retail jewelry store, the margins are so much higher. So I'm able to play with that margin because I am my own manufacturer. So we manufacture for other companies, but my brands, we manufacture for our brands, and we don't have a third party company. It doesn't take 6 to 8 weeks to make. It only takes 5 days to make something. So, and we have a 100% return policy. If I make you something and you're unhappy with it, I'd rather have a positive relationship with you than an unhappy customer. That's how I look at it.
That's the right way of looking at things, for sure. 100%. And it kind of reflects in your reviews. I found you through Yelp. You have one of the highest rated Yelp pages out there.
For full transparency, everybody, Dimitri is a client.
It actually goes both ways.
I'm a client of Dimitri's.
Well, that's in the best case scenario is people trade services when they both like each other's services. I think that kind of speaks about both of us. We both respect each other's craft.
Well, I've also been super lucky to meet your family. And, I really do enjoy supporting small businesses, as you were saying, even the jacket that I'm wearing, is from a small business, a boutique store, you get to meet the owner, and be able to discuss with them and create a relationship and then, learn a bit more. And then you're more on the inside, and that transparency is so much easier when you know the person and you have that relationship. I can't tell you how many weddings I've been invited to as the jeweler. Like, I didn't know them as a friend before,
right? And
then I'm at their wedding. I think they just want their profit back in a wedding present. So, but yeah, no, it's great. I really, really enjoy it. It's the world's funnest job. I get to play with diamonds all day. It's kind of a joke of a job. It's not backbreaking work. It's hard work.
I think it's important to enjoy what you do. I don't think everybody would enjoy. I understand the shiny diamonds, but it still takes some rigor to figure things out and to, like you said in the beginning, you had to drive how many miles you said? 40,000 the first
40,000
year.
in under a year. Yeah.
You don't get to a place that you comfortably enjoy a job until, especially in a business, until you grinded it out to get there.
Oh, there was a grind.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there was a grind. I'm an overnight success after 10 years of hard work.
Yeah. That night has been a long night.
9.5 years were really difficult.
Yeah. So back to lab diamonds. I'm always curious, like, where's the price now compares to the natural diamond?
It's significant. So
80% cheaper,
it depends on how big of a diamond that you go, right?
Let's go with like 1 carat VS1, and let's say what's an average color?
It's
a good color.
So 1 carat lab grown diamond is going to be around with a plain boring setting is going to be $1,500. Okay. So $1,499 or something like that. And then a natural diamond, apples to apples, which the reality is I probably wouldn't sell you apples to apples because, I tell people don't pay for what you can't see, right? So some clients, the ladies are very particular with color. Other clients, they have very sharp eyes where they can see even the smallest clarity characteristics. So that diamond's out, right? So apples to apples, let's say a colorless diamond, VS1 or better, that's $1,499 as a lab-grown diamond. As a natural diamond is still about $4,500 to get apples to apples. But a D flawless is still going to be like $7,000, right? Compared to, a $2,000 lab grown that's D flawless.
I thought it was a bigger difference.
It's a significant difference when it gets bigger, right? So because small 1 carat round diamonds have taken a massive hit, right? So they took a 50% hit. Now, so back in the day, double all those prices. It was $8,000 diamond versus a $1,400 diamond, right?
So where do you have the biggest saving when you go?
The bigger diamond you go. So let's say a 3 carat diamond is like $3,500 lab grown, right? And a natural apples to apples 3 carat diamond is in the low 6 figures, 115,000. So DEF in color, VVS in clarity, you're going to be in the 6 figures. And where in it, so now you're talking 98% off, 97% off, to get a fantastic, beautiful lab grown diamond.
That makes the best probably business case for lab. I think when you go into the bigger stuff, when you have that crazy saving.
Absolutely.
Like that would be cost prohibitive for most people to get those large diamonds.
The reality is the average client has a budget of near $5,000, right? So near $5,000, if you were going to go natural, you're going to be close to 1 carat. Mm-hmm. If you go lab grown, 3.5 carats, 4 carats, not out of the question now. Depending on how complicated the setting is going to be, right? Because the setting can range from $600 to $2,000, $3,000, depending on how crazy of a design that they want to get. They want something with hundreds of diamonds. It's micro pave, diamonds all over the place, lots of labor, lots of small diamonds. You can really get into this a very complicated design or custom cut diamonds going down the sides that are exactly matching, stuff like that, where it can get really, really complicated. And then that can eat out of the budget, right? So if she wants a really complicated setting that's $2,500, and the guy only has a $5,000 budget, then the center stone's only going to be $2,500,
right?
And you don't want a 3/4 carat diamond in a complicated setting.
What would be a good ratio for a setting versus the center stone?
Nowadays, that's challenging to say. Right, because that's I tell clients, start with a budget. Have your budget in mind. Okay, if your budget's $10,000, fantastic. Then, whatever setting that she wants, it's going to max out. It's really challenging to get past $2,000, $3,000 on a setting. So that gives us $7,000 for the diamond, right? So, but some clients, they have tighter budgets, but she has a much bigger imagination of what she wants her setting to look like. So it's really hard to say what the ratio should be. It's what's going to make her happy.
And now it's kind of wonky because the diamonds have gone down in value and the gold has doubled in value. So the settings are going to be way more pricey than they used to be.
2-carat natural diamonds, $25,000, right? For really very good quality, between 2.5 carat diamonds, 25 natural, $25,000, right? So it's really easy to say the ratio. Yeah, okay, 10% should go towards the setting, and then the 90% should go towards the diamond. But nowadays a 2-carat lab-grown diamonds, $2,000, whatever, and then the setting's $2,000. Now you're 50-50. It's very weird to say that. And yes, gold has gone up in price. I mean, I used to do solitaire settings. Used to cost me $150 to $180, depending on the style of setting and stuff. Now, $350. I mean, it's crazy.
Triple.
$350 just for a simple solitaire setting. It's challenging, especially all of our stuff is handmade versus cast made. So handmade, you have about 30% stronger setting than a cast made setting. 99% of jewelry that you see on the market today is cast made. So they 3D print a wax. After they 3D print the wax, they put it in a colander, and in that colander you pour the gold in and blah blah blah. It turns into, and then at the end of the day you have a ring. We make the ring from scratch. So that means we're melting the gold, we're extruding the gold, we're turning it into either round or square, and then we're turning that square into a ring, and then we have to make the prongs and stuff like that. There's a lot more labor involved, but at the end of the day, you end up with a much higher quality, higher density of gold. I mean, our rings are heavier than a cast made piece just because of the density, because we're annealing it, we're smashing it, we're really making a piece of jewelry versus just pouring some gold into a lost cast method.
So right now, if we go back to the lab diamonds, is there any difference between natural and lab?
No, it's made out of the same material.
Exactly identical.
So
how
lower
do
quality.
I've seen some machines can actually detect the difference.
Okay, so the number one machine that can tell the difference would be at a laboratory, right? Whether it's at the GIA or any of these other certifying agencies that are third party, and they're looking for the growth pattern of a diamond. So this is $1 million machine. That's looking at that the diamond was created in layers. So now it's CVD that it's created through CVD, or if it's kind of grown amoebic like it would in the earth. Okay, so that's going to be number one, the best quality. Now, if you use I think it's called a Yehuda machine, where you take the diamonds and you look at them under this computer lens. Some will be blue, some will be red, and the ones that are blue are lab grown, with some that are red will be natural. But that's about 70 to 90% accurate, so it's not 100%, right? So if somebody were selling me a diamond over the counter, so somebody came, they inherited a diamond from grandma, I give them the offer and then say we have to send it to GIA.
So you wouldn't even trust the machine?
No, 100% no, because you're one, I have to get it GIA certified anyway. Right, and that's going to take 1 to 2 weeks. Usually not that big of a deal.
How much does that cost? A couple of $100?
Depending on the carat weight of the diamond, there's different tiers of pricing, and you can find that on the GIA website. None of this is industry secret or anything like that. So, and then so it's a price per carat. It's like $150 per carat, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there is a pricing guide. And then you'll send it to the GIA, and the GIA will send it back to you with a certificate.
GIA stands for Gemologist Institute of America or something.
That's exactly right.
They're the premier, the number one.
They're the only nonprofit organization that grades diamonds and gemstones. So, and they are, Professor Liddy Coate was the one that created the diamond grading scale, right? It's the reason why the best color for a diamond is D and not A, because he said if it started at A, nobody's going to want anything less than an A quality diamond, right? Who wants a D? But now, so he created the clarity grades and the color grading standards for diamonds, and he's the founder of the Gemological Institute of America.
How old is GIA? Do you know?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't know.
And probably
A long time.
while, yeah.
Long time. So I mean, I've met people who have graduated from the GIA from the 1970s when the GIA was in Santa Monica. Now the GIA is in Carlsbad. That's where I went to school. It was in Carlsbad. I graduated in 2011
From GIA?
from GIA, and I did the in-class program. It was 9 months to become a full graduate gemologist.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you specialize just in diamonds, or you do other
I
color
do
stores?
everything. So I'm a full graduate gemologist. So there are diamond graduates that have done a 7-week course. I think it's 7 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, where all they do is diamonds. And then so you should be at the end of that course, it's a 5-stone. They give you 5 random diamonds, and you have to grade them within a certain parameter. I think you can be 1 color grade off. And 1 clarity grade off on 1 or 2 stones. So you have to be very accurate in order to pass. And then there is the gem course, and then that is the much longer course. That's another 6 more months or whatever. Can't really remember. It's been such a long time. And then you end up with a 20 stone, and what they do, and you have to be 100% accurate. So they give you 20 random stones. And all you get is your book and your stones and a couple of tools. And you have to get the color correct. You have to get the species of the gem correct. So you have to identify 20 stones and get 100% correct. So I failed my first by 1. So the difference was ruby versus rubellite. It was really tiny difference. It was a very small stone. And
Do you use a loop to identify them?
You start with a loop because you're looking for they do allow you to use a microscope. So and you're looking for specific clarity characteristics. So it could be a ruby, but it could be a lab grown ruby, right? So I'm looking for certain things in a ruby that would tell me certain things. It's such a small stone that's how I made the mistake because it was so close to a rubellite. Yeah.
I remember one time I bought a ring for my wife on eBay.
Yeah.
And it said natural ruby. It came in, and I think he even had some like certificate from some shady organization.
Of course.
And it looked too good to be true.
Right.
So I had a buddy of mine in New York. I gave it to him. He sent it to GIA and came out to be lab. It just looked way too good to be true. And at least the guy refunded me. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know about it." I'm pretty sure he knew.
Well, I try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and him giving you your money back. I mean, that's the right thing to do. As soon as you found out,
he didn't give me money back for the GIA though. I should have pushed him for that.
I would have.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I would have credited you back all your costs.
I think it was like a couple of $100 or something.
But I've never made that mistake. So, I mean, I will never make that mistake. And actually, according to SEC, I'm actually held to a much higher standard. So if I sell you a diamond that's not certified, and I have to put the color down, I have to put the clarity down, I have to, and the weight down on a receipt, right? And you take it to the GIA, and I'm more than 1 color grade or 1 clarity grade off, you can sue me for the whole value of the ring.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
and that's because you're a gemologist?
Specifically because I'm a graduate gemologist.
Yeah. And not all jewelers are gemologists. Right?
Most aren't. So, so I did not come from a family of jewelers. So it's not like, I grew up in my dad's jewelry store or something like that, and I saw diamonds all day since I was 12 years old. which is the average of the industry. Most of this industry is, it's a family growing business. And then you have the corporate side, and then you have like the family jewelry side. So, so on the family side, you have somebody, you're 10, 12 years old, you're sitting in the jewelry store studying, and then also looking at diamonds, and helping the parents. And then that's how you get into that business. Right. So for me, since I did not come from that background, becoming a graduate gemologist was paramount, because a tiny mistake is a lot of money. It's a huge amount of money. A 3-carat diamond, the guy comes in, he shows it to you, and it has treatment. Well, there you go.
What's treatment on a diamond?
So a natural diamond can be treated either through HPHT, so high pressure, high temperature, and that'll change the color. Then that's a permanent treatment.
So it's like faking a color, essentially.
It's improving the color.
And that makes it less valuable?
That will make it less valuable. Then there's laser, where they'll actually do a laser drill hole to get the little particles out of the diamond and then fill it with glass.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty bad.
You again, not having experience and seeing these things can get you in a lot of trouble. It's really, really expensive mistakes, right? And then there's fracture filling, where, there's a big fracture in the stone, and then they fill it with a glass-like substance, and you look at it and it's like, oh, it's a really pretty diamond. And then you find out it's worthless.
That just makes me think, like, unless you either have to trust your jeweler or you have to make sure it's GIA certified, or both.
I would say both.
Yeah.
There are occasions where something walks into the store, and then a jeweler buddy calls you and says, hey, you should buy this thing. It's walking in my store. I don't want it, but secondhand, it's a good deal and you should get it. That's where that trust will come in. But even I will send all diamonds to the GIA, even when I'm buying them off for any reason.
Does GIA make mistakes?
No.
Impossible. Wow.
I've never seen. They may have if you dispute it. So let's say I think it's an I in color and GIA says it's a J in color. You can dispute it, but you will still be wrong, because they have 3 graders will look at a diamond, and and it's blind. It's 100% blind.
They have to reach a consensus.
They have to reach a consensus.
Oh, that's
so if this guy says it's an I, and then the next person says that it's J, and then the next person says that it's I, then the grade is I. Okay. Now, if it's 3 different colors, I think it's I, K, J. Then it goes to the 4th guy and 5th guy, and they have. If you're a graduate gemologist, the only way you can get a tour of the lab is to become a graduate gemologist. And we got a tour of the lab, and they have just a line of graders. And that's all they do. And they will only grade color from 8 a.m. until noon, because the amount of light that's inside versus when somebody goes outside into the sun, burn out your eyes. It'll change, the way that you see. So color is only graded from 8 to noon.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. So it's absolutely wild. So, and it's incredible. And it's double blind. So you submit your diamond. The only person that knows that you submitted the diamond is the person at the register, because then it gets an assignment number. And that assignment number, goes into the system. So it's not like, and they put in their own paper too. So it's not like you can write a nice little note on the inside of the paper what color and clarity grade you want it to be or anything like that. So that's why the GIA is held to a very high standard.
And I'm assuming the other certifications are not as rigorous.
I'm not going to say all of them, but there are.
Which are some of the trustworthy ones?
I'm just going to say a GIA for this podcast, just because they're the standard. Right. So there is AGS that
But which one would you trust? Like
GIA. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Why? Why go anywhere else?
What if like a diamond comes through with already certification from another credible or semi-credible organization?
If it's somebody that I
you
feel
still would recheck.
I would still send it to GIA because I'm only selling GIA diamonds anyway, right? So
Even for lab.
For lab, no, lab IGI and GIA.
Why would you make the distinction?
The cost, because I'm only selling really high color and clarity grades. And then IGI has made themselves kind of the standard for lab-grown diamonds.
And who's IGI? They're for-profit. What's the
all other labs other than GIA are for-profit, but they have not been known to give generous grades.
Are they similar, like in the sense that they have to have 3 people, or like
I don't know.
the time of day?
I have not done a tour of their laboratory, but they have become the standard for lab-grown diamonds.
What about bigger lab-grown or like
Same.
more sensitive? Always
I mean, look, IGI, GIA. Again, I'm only dealing in extremely high color and clarity, and then also I'm checking it too. So just because it says something on a piece of paper, doesn't necessarily mean that's what I'm going to agree with. They may say that the cut grade is ideal. I'm looking at the diamond, I'm like, that doesn't look brilliant to me. So why, as a graduate gemologist, I'm taking my expertise, and I will put it on above and beyond. Just because a piece of paper says something does not necessarily mean that I am going to tell a client, look, I think this is ideal or better or excellent or whatever, based on a piece of paper. I look at the diamond, I show the client the diamond, I'm like, this looks amazing. This is what your diamond should look like, and that's how I have my own level of standards. Even against the GIA. GIA has an excellent cut grade for round cut diamonds. For the cut grade, you have excellent, very good, fair, and poor. Okay, I would say 7 out of 10 natural diamonds from the GIA that I sell are in the very good category, because you can't get an excellent grade unless you're within specific parameters, right? So if your crown angle is off by a degree, that's it. No excellent grade. You're done. Right. So, but you look at the diamond and like, oh my God, it's sparkling brilliant, and it can look better than a lot of excellent cuts. And that's where you find value in some of this stuff as well.
No, I heard, by the way, like another way to tell what's natural versus lab is by the way they're cut. Like there are some old cut diamonds.
They're doing old cut diamonds for lab growns too.
Oh, they're doing that too.
Yeah, so if you're recreating like an antique ring, then you can get like an old minor of a lab grown.
So that will not help anymore either.
No way. Yeah.
Wow. So you really you have to go to the lab essentially.
It has to, yeah. So again, I'm a graduate gemologist. You give me a bunch of tools, and I'll look at the diamonds, and if they're flawless diamonds, natural or lab grown, you put 3 diamonds in front of me, I'm going to get it right 30% of the time.
That's crazy.
That's it. Yeah, it's like flipping a coin.
What wasn't there a limit for lab grown, like how clear they can be, or
no, not anymore. You can get flawless.
You can flawless completely, like the best of the best.
Right, but also don't forget that clarity grades are graded at 10 power magnification. So if you magnify to 100 times, you're eventually going to find a clarity characteristic, even on a flawless natural or flawless lab grown.
Okay, but as far as lab grown, there are no more limits as to what they can do with it.
As to quality, no, yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
And size as well? Was there a limit on size?
I think there's still kind of a limit on size, but I've seen 15, 20 carat lab grown diamonds.
Flawless G?
A very high quality.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is wild.
What's going to happen to the industry? It's stabilized. I heard most of it's coming out of China, right? And they the Chinese oversaturated the market, and they stopped producing.
The Indians too.
Indians too, lab grown?
Yeah. So, but there's tariffs on them too.
But
right?
you're saying it's stabilizing now. It's not as crazy because it used to go down. I remember consistently.
Well, there was also a time where lab-grown diamonds versus natural diamonds were really close to the same price. It might have been like a 15 or 20%
That was in the
discount
beginning, probably.
in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then as more manufacturers came alive, as supply has increased and so on and so forth, then lab-grown diamonds have gone down in price. So what the problem that I'm seeing recently online is that you'll get an advertisement, 3-carat diamond for $300. Like, okay, that's very interesting. And then you start looking into the details, and it's either really low quality or it's HPHT, which won't test as a diamond with a diamond tester. There's so many other factors. And this is why you really want a jeweler, or you really want a trusted a website that you're working with, or whoever it is that you're working with. You want to have some ability of communication, because you really want to know what it is that you're buying. At the end of the day, even at $300 is still a lot of money. I don't care what anybody says. $300 is a lot of money. $1,500 is a lot of money. $2,000, $5,000. Now people are making phone calls. They're talking. They're having. They want to see the diamond in person and stuff like that. So it's really it's really interesting how the industry is going right now.
What do you think percentage of sales now between lab and natural?
Okay, so we have 3 offices under Forever Faithful Diamonds. One is Gem Beiju in Daytona Beach, Florida, and then we have Raymond the Diamond Guy in Tennessee, and then we have my office here in Newport Beach. In Daytona, it's 80-20 lab. 80%, 20% natural, because we have a lot of older clients that don't believe in lab grown diamonds. They have an emotional attachment to natural. Mm-hmm. The Tennessee office is 100% lab grown.
That's crazy.
They've never sold a natural diamond in that office in the last 4 years. So, and then in my office, it's over 90, here in Newport Beach, it's over 90% lab grown. So, and then that 10% is really high net worth clients. People that are purchasing 6-figure and above pieces of jewelry.
But it's not a store of wealth per se.
It can be. So you need, so diamonds are precious, they're semi-precious gem. Now, you hear this all the time on TikTok, diamonds are semi-precious, they're not really rare, and so on and so forth. Until you get into size and quality. The larger diamond and the higher quality, now you go from semi-precious to super precious. So over 3 carats, colorless, VS and above, really high quality. Now you're getting into something precious. Like basketball cards. There's 1 billion basketball cards out there.
Once you get into the rarity.
One Michael Jordan 10 or whatever rookie card that sold for, I don't know, $10 million or something, right? That's the same with diamonds, is that you have, there's 1 billion diamonds out there, a smaller size, lower grade, lower quality, but there's very few. Like, for example, I had a client, he came in, he wanted a 5-carat, elongated, cushion, colorless, VS1 or better.
Natural?
Guess how many there were on the planet for him to see?
I don't know, 10?
6.
Oh, wow. I was close.
On the planet. So there's worldwide availability.
That's insane.
And I brought 3 of them for him, 3 of them for him to see. One of them was really nice. The other 2, the cuts were kind of older, a little bit too high crown, weren't that great to look at.
And how much does something like that sell for?
That was in the 6 figures.
And will it retain value, you think? Like, as lab gets better and you can recreate that
right,
stuff.
but that client is looking for something rare that you cannot get, right? So there aren't any more, so he cut the population of those diamonds by 20%.
What you're saying is, like, he just wouldn't consider lab, period, right?
Exactly. So that there's a certain level of client that just doesn't consider it.
So because of those clients, the market for natural will always
Right.
hold.
So it's more like a painting. Okay, is actually a better example, right? So you have the first painting, right, and then you have the prints, right, and then so the artist went, he painted, he made this amazing thing, then it was printed, and then there might be a bunch of touch-up ones, right, which are the higher quality ones, but there's still prints. It's not the original. Right. And then original of that painting is rare and priceless or whatever versus the prints.
And then also, as far as I'm understanding, the people that actually are interested in natural, they're more interested in stuff that's more than 3 carats because they're more exclusive.
I would say there's 2 clients. One client is somebody, so I can destroy every argument for buying a natural diamond except for one. That one is going to be, I don't feel like it's a real diamond. So there's an emotion there. I can't break that emotion. First of all, like I don't want to. I want that person to be happy with what they have, right? So I want a natural diamond because it's natural. Okay, that totally fine. No problem. And there is that client out there. Then there's the second client that needs to feel the purchase. So a guy, he's making serious money. What's $5,000? He bought her a purse for $5,000. They go on vacation for $20,000. These are really high net worth people, and I've heard them say this, like, I need to feel it. Like if I get her something for $10,000, I need, even if I get her the biggest lab grown diamond, I'm not gonna feel. I want to pay. I want to spend $100,000 on this. I want to feel like I did something. Also I want to feel like I gave her something that nobody else could give her. That's that type of emotion out there. Now, then when it comes to investing, right, then that client who's wants to believe in value growth, right? Because I don't sell investments. I sell you a token of your love and appreciation for this person. When it comes to investments and holding diamonds, now you need to get into the hyper rare. You got to be in the 6 figures. If you're not in the 6 figures, it's going to be hard to recoup that investment.
That's interesting. It's almost counterintuitive, but it isn't. Ultimately, if you just based on rarity alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what advice would you give to somebody that's specifically looking to use it as an investment? Like, what would be the minimum starting point?
100.
100,000. That's like
that's
minimum.
the minimum.
And what would translate into a diamond?
I would say a 1 carat pink, 1.5 carat pink.
The colors.
Something colored, something that is really interesting. Something that there's not going. I'll look worldwide and I'll say, okay, there's only 10 of these stones out there. So like when you look at auctions, red diamonds per carat are the most expensive diamond in the world. They're at fine art level of value. Yeah.
So red, then pink?
Red, then blue.
And then pink?
Then pink and green. Yeah.
Something
like,
most
I mean,
people would think the average Joe would think the clear is the most
white.
valuable.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No.
So it's
color diamonds are the most rare. So they're the most valuable.
But there are labs now that can make color diamonds as well?
There are fancy color lab-grown diamonds. They're also difficult to find nice ones.
Why?
So like pinks, they just come out goofy colors and they look weird.
But that's probably only a matter of time also until they perfect the technology.
Right, but there's the level of risk of making a pink. So the guy, he has the machine, he's making pinks or fancy colors, and so many of them come out not great. So you have a lot of burnt stock, and that's so the 1 out of 20 pink ones that comes out that looks good is kind of expensive.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good advice, like colored stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Not practical for most people.
Look, if you,
But
I would tell people,
interesting.
if you're, from my industry, if I don't have any natural diamonds in my inventory anymore, right? Because they've just gone down so quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to
right?
hold it.
Right. And the bread and butter for my office was 1.5 to 3 carat diamonds. I just let them all go. I let them all go at the beginning of this whole craze.
That makes sense.
So-
And it's interesting. Opposite is true for gold. You kind of want to hold on to gold.
You want to
inventory.
hold on to your gold. Exactly. So what I would tell somebody is if they have, $1,000 just sitting around, buy gold.
You don't think gold's going to go down now?
I have no crystal ball.
What's your thought?
I don't own a crystal ball.
Just your best guess.
Okay, so how do you make gold? Is you mine it,
Yeah, there's no way
right?
to.
So there's a
produce
cost
it.
of mining it. So there's the amount of diesel and labor to mine gold. There is gold that is out there that is difficult to get. So the more valuable gold is, the more these miners are going to spend on getting more difficult to get gold. So at some point that's why you see the values kind of moving around is one, you have market manipulation through really, big organizations that are buying and selling gold, such as countries, are moving this stuff around, right? Then you have the mines, and the mines are, it's like homes. If homes in Riverside go up to a certain value, you start building a lot more homes.
Yeah,
And,
so
in Arizona, look at Austin,
production
Texas.
goes up.
Exactly. Production goes up. Value goes up. Production goes up. Now it's just more difficult to mine some gold, so they will open up those more difficult mines.
Are there still plenty of new places where you can open up new mines for gold? I thought it was like very limited supply.
I don't know, and I don't want to say things that I don't know about. So is there gold being found in new places? I don't know. I'm not. We should bring a prospector in here. That would be really cool. So there's a lot of gold in the United States. There's a lot of gold in Alaska. There's a lot of gold in Canada, and a lot of it is alluvial. So it's gold that's found near the surface. Then there's other gold that's found in veins and different caves and stuff like that. That's way more difficult to find. It's just very challenging.
But gold is gold, unlike diamonds. It's just they melt it. It's going to be in different carats, but you can't tell a difference where the gold is from. Like, for example, emeralds. You can tell this is Zambian emerald. This is a Colombian emerald. Gold, you cannot tell the source.
Right. So
Once it's
same
melted,
thing
it's
like diamond. Yeah. You cannot tell the source. So you can have I had a teacher at the GIA. He told us once, like, hey, you could gold is the most recycled material in the world. So technically in this ring or in this watch, there could be gold that was in Nefertiti's necklace or crown or something like that, that was, melted down, thousands of years ago. Who knows?
Like the jewels that just got stolen from the Louvre.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to that?
I thought they found some of
They
it.
did?
They found the guys.
Did they recover the jewels?
I don't know.
From what I understand, I've heard that, there's lots of different rumors, but it was an order. Somebody actually wanted those specifics because the arguments are like that most likely they're going to get melted and cut down because anyone caught in possession of
But
these
that's
jewels.
a crappy way of stealing jewelry.
Yeah.
That's
No,
a
I'm
really
saying
crappy way
is
of doing it.
somebody wanted specifically.
You
these
have to have a
jewels.
customer. And that
Yeah.
customer would have had to say, I'm going to pay, some astronomical amount. And it, that's so wild. That's very movie.
But then they
you
can never
know.
show it to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, why have jewels if you can't
Where
wear it?
is James Dean's Porsche?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
So what's the
Nobody
point of
knows.
having it?
I don't know. I'm
It
not
doesn't
that
even make
rich.
any sense.
I don't
No, I'm just
know.
like logically, why people wear jewelry to show it off. So if you can show it off,
Right, but the
then
thing is,
what's the point?
there are people at certain
Collectors, maybe.
there's certain collectors that are out there that are not flash, that want things to have things that nobody else can have.
But at least they would want
That would be
bragging rights,
that
and
could
they
be
cannot
for a
have bragging
private
rights.
party, could be,
And you don't think someone's going to rat them out in a private party?
I mean, depends on how tight that party is. I don't know. I mean, I don't hang out with these guys, so I don't hang out with criminals.
So what's going to happen if they do cut them down? You think they're going to get significantly cut down, those jewels, to not be recognizable?
That's the sad thing about, like a historic piece of jewelry getting melted. It's gone forever, right? But you can always recreate it. I mean, I could remake that piece.
But it's not the same. It's like lab versus natural. It's
Penn from Penn and Teller, he said something interesting one time. He's like, okay, so this is Houdini's wand, but the ends were replaced, and then at some point the shaft was replaced, but this is Houdini's wand. It's still Houdini's wand until somebody says it's not.
Okay, but when it comes to that specific jewelry that was stolen, you cannot size up the jewels. You have to completely replace them. If they've melted the gold, you have to recast it. So at the end of the day, it's a brand new item. It's a print.
Right. It's a print. It's the print.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not the original. It's not going to be the same.
And I think, I don't know, I kind of believe that people that wear things, they pass on some energy to it. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that?
No. I don't believe in energy of items.
So I guess that would be most diamonds today are new or no, or they're recycled. The gold is recycled.
Gold is 100% recycled. Diamonds are going to be recycled too. So
the naturals.
Yeah, the naturals.
But
so a lot of people ask me,
one.
is this a new diamond? According to the SEC, there's no such thing as a used diamond because there's no wear and tear.
So you'd never, ever know when the brand new stone, unless you go to the mine and you buy it straight from the mine. Can you buy a brand new diamond if you really wanted to?
You can.
Can you source one?
But how do I prove that to you?
I don't know, show a video.
Right, so that's where the trust comes from, right? Because it's like, the big craze for a long time was Canadian diamonds.
What does that mean?
So that means it didn't come from Africa. So there was no blood diamond and so on and so forth. So having a Canadian diamond, had this meaning of not being part of, a weapons trade or something like that.
But
right?
Again, you can't prove.
How do you prove it?
No, nobody would certify it. Like GIA wouldn't certify it.
No, 100% GIA will not certify it as Canadian grown. Or from a Canadian mine, 100% no, because there's no proof of that. So what jewelers were doing is they were giving you a card that said that this diamond was mined in Canada, and from this mine, and here's some, it made it look really, authentic looking of a card, but there's no proof of there's no proof.
That's interesting.
So now, as a diamond dealer and as a graduate gemologist, I signed into the Kimberley process, meaning I will not buy diamonds that knowingly were sold or traded for weapons or for a warlord or something like that.
But you would never truly know if it was or not. You would just trust your source.
That's correct.
But your source could have trusted their source, and at some point there could have been a break. You wouldn't know. That's interesting.
You wouldn't know. I mean, that's the truth.
I know some people genuinely believe there's energy in stones. Like there's a whole thing about it.
Right. So having a ruby touching your skin or an emerald touching your skin could give you better health, or better for wealth, luck, and health.
Like superstitious people believe in that kind of stuff.
I'm not going to look, if you believe that, I'm fine with it, and I'm not going to judge in any way, shape, or form.
No, what I'm saying is I never thought about it this way. Mm-hmm. Because I know I've met people like that. I don't want to name names, but 100% they would never buy used jewelry. I personally don't care. I bought my wife used stuff. She's okay with it, and we got great deals sometimes doing that, especially antique pieces and stuff like that. But I know some people, like I have somebody in my family, would never ever wear a used jewelry because they think the person that wore it before carried some energy, etc. But then the argument is like, what do you think? If you got a brand new piece of jewelry, that stone is like very highly likely it's used, it's been used.
It's extremely highly likely. You know, how many
Just because the
stones are
setting is
sold
different,
to
the
pawn
stone-
shops every single day, right?
Right.
And where do those stones go? Those stones, you know, they go back to a wholesaler or a dealer, and they get recut. And now they're more contemporary cut, and so on and so forth.
So maybe here's an idea for a business.
Sure.
Just brand new diamonds or something.
Oh man,
If you
I
can
can't
actually source
unethically.
But if you
know,
source it from like a lab, not lab, I'm sorry, from a mine.
I have
buy directly from the
wholesale.
mine.
I have a dealer that I work with. His uncle owns the mine. His cousin is a diamond cutter, and then from the diamond cutter, it goes to him. So he was, when I was selling a lot more natural diamonds, he was one of my best suppliers because it was a very linear from brand new. Right, so there's a cost to mine the stone and so on and so forth, and it gets to the wholesale, and then it gets to me, right? So instead of it passing by 3,000 hands, you know, going from De Beers to a cutter to a supplier, and from a supplier to a cutter, and a cutter to a wholesaler to another wholesaler in the United States or in wherever, and they bounce around a lot too, because a wholesaler will sell to another wholesaler. There was profit made in between there, and then it gets to me somehow. Right now, that's a lot of hands. Every single time something changes hands, there's money replaced. So for getting it from him, it was very linear. So his prices were very fair, and I sold a lot of diamonds from him. But the thing is, there's no way that I could write on the receipt or a certificate or anything to say this is brand new. There's no way, because I can't prove it. You know, so and that's a problem.
I wonder if there could be a way, like maybe take.
We just have GoPros on the mine,
Yeah, something.
you know, and then just follow it through. I mean, it's
No, I guess that would
I
be
can
impossible.
take your family member to the mine. We can get the diamond. We can take it to the diamond cutter ourselves, have the diamond cut. You know, he'll have, at some point he has to sleep.
No,
Right?
I have an idea. I have an idea.
You know,
if the mine themselves will cut it somewhere close by and put some kind of a identification laser etch.
so that's how the
into
Kimberley
the
process
diamond.
sort of works, right? So you have mines that are within the Kimberley process in Africa, for example, right? That are selling diamonds legitimately, right? So those diamonds get laser inscribed at the mine, and then they go to some, you know, government place, and then from there they get sold to De Beers or El Rosa or whatever. So that's how you know that diamond that's laser engraved it can leave Africa and be part of the Kimberley process. You know,
But can you source it directly from that mine? Call them up and say, "I want to buy the diamond."
it's possible, but we gotta spend some money.
It would be more expensive to do that.
Oh yeah. It's
How
a
much
it's a
more?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I will make it happen. I will always
just
make a
curious.
client happen. Will it be a serious amount of money? Yeah, it's got to be a serious amount of money, because we're gonna be following this diamond around. It's gonna be fun. You know, just think of all the hotel rooms that we're gonna.
Okay,
need to
maybe
get.
someone watching to be like, "Oh, I didn't know. I want a new diamond." They'll call you
Let's
about it.
do it. Absolutely. So I have cut diamonds from raw before for clients that wanted from raw to their ring.
Oh, that's another way of doing
Yeah,
it.
so
Just
we-
take a raw piece. Chances are no one ever wore it. So
Yeah,
like
of course,
zero
because
chance.
it was never cut as
Yeah.
a gem. So I have done that before and sourced raw stones for them and allowed them to choose and say, hey, look, I think this is going to come out really high quality. There's really good color, so on and so
that's
forth.
actually a cool idea. The
Yeah,
raw
and
diamonds.
really start from scratch. Yeah, rawdiamonds.com. Jeez, that's gonna be rough. It's a lot of work. It's so much work.
Can you look at a raw diamond and tell what kind of clarity it has?
Okay,
color?
so what they do is you polish a window, right?
Okay.
So you just polish one edge of the raw diamond and look into it as best as you can.
Is there a market for raw diamonds specifically where you can source it and stuff like that?
Not on the retail level. So there are collector raw diamonds that are called glassies, and they look really cool, and people collect them. Like gem collectors collect them.
I almost feel like that's a whole thing on its own
It's a whole thing
that
on
you
its
cannot
own.
mix it with the lab. Lab will never look like that, right? Or they also come out raw, kind of funky looking.
So labs will come out as a cube.
Okay.
Most raw diamonds will come out as two pyramids on top of each other.
Oh, I want to look that up. Hold on.
Yeah, so look up a glassy diamond, natural glassy diamond, and you'll have these triangular naturals on them, and it's just the coolest thing ever. So there are collectors out there that will actually collect pieces of I shouldn't say pieces, but like they will cut out a piece
Like
of
this one?
Of the mine where an emerald is growing. Yeah, that could be, but I'm not sure that's natural or not.
You think lab could look like that as well?
I don't know. It's just an interesting looking one. So
Even the caption
because of
says,
the
is this the
concaves.
diamond or quartz or glass?
Yeah. So because of the concave cut in it, that looks like quartz to me. So these are
That's-
glassy naturals, right? So
that is.
right here. So in this right here, that's a diamond that's growing out of the diamond right here. So now if you go here, that's a quartz. No, glass. That's not what we're looking for. But imagine just like that piece right there, kind of growing into two pyramids on either side. It's really sick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How come nobody uses that for rings? That would be interesting. You
Raw
just
raw
cut it?
diamonds as rings.
Yeah, you cut
because
it
they
in a
don't have
certain
they don't have the brilliance. That's why. But
Well,
yeah, there are
Can't you cut it like on one side where it's going to be brilliant and leave the raw piece on the bottom?
not necessarily because I need the refractivity.
Uh,
So yeah, yes and no. I mean, I can do anything, but something that I have done before is I've done bird cages with raw diamonds in them. So basically, I call it a bird cage, but what it is it's like imagine a piece of jewelry that looks like this, right? And inside of it is raw diamonds and emeralds or whatever that's sitting in there, and then kind of move around on its own.
I think that would be the most original thing. Like, I don't know. I've never seen anybody selling or wearing raw or some half raw, because that will for sure tell everybody that's not a lab diamond.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
That's a really cool
It's
thing.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's just
Let's
not
make
as
one.
it's just not as fun to look as
I know. But
it's a very nerdy thing to want to do.
ultimately, when you go back to exclusivity, not everything that's exclusive is cool to look at.
Well, there's other gems out there too,
That's true.
right?
What are some
so you
other
have
like?
emeralds and sapphires and rubies and
What are the hottest?
jade.
Give me your ranking. Hottest stones.
Well, okay, hottest stones and the dude in popularity, like of the general population, is going to be diamond.
Okay.
Right, because
Besides
everybody
that.
gets an engagement ring. And then besides that, I would say, oh man, that's a tough one.
Would you say rubies before sapphire?
Are we going popularity or value?
Let's do coolness.
Coolness is a bad one too, because there's a
subjective.
lot of cool stuff out there. I mean, there's calcidian, there's different routine
value.
quartz
Fine.
that are not
Let's judge
that
by
expensive.
value.
That
The
are super cool.
The market rules.
Most expensive?
Yeah.
Alexandrite.
Really, I would never expect that answer.
Color change, natural alexandrite from brown to red, green to red. I mean, it's
I
a
thought you'd say
Christmas
opal
stone.
maybe or something. Black
No,
opal.
no. Opal's cool, but when it comes to value, alexandrite.
Really?
A
What's
large,
the hardness? on
strong
Alexander?
color change. Alexander, 8.5.
So it's
it's
decent.
good. It's like a
not like-
sapphire, yeah. So yeah, you can wear it every day, beat it up, do
Okay, what's
whatever.
the
You're not
second
gonna
one?
hurt it. Really expensive emeralds. Colombian
specifically?
emeralds with 3-phase inclusions, large, dark, slightly bluish green. That's transparent.
Yeah, I've seen some. They're
Absolutely
crazy.
gorgeous, amazing. And then
they're
but
always gonna have inclusions.
now we're
too.
kind of
That's-
getting into a gray area here, because talking about this is kind of like talking about a Van Gogh versus another painter. They're
Right.
both really expensive
to
things,
each
right?
their own at the end of
So
the day.
exactly, because there could also be a really expensive ruby. That's more expensive. I don't know what's the most expensive emerald versus the most expensive ruby, but that would also be a really high number too.
What would be a rare? Like rarer?
Ooh, the Alexandrite's the rarest.
Alexandrite, then you'd still go for emeralds, Colombian
emeralds,
and then
imperial jade.
Over rubies and sapphires.
Real imperial jade.
Okay. After that.
And then there's pod parashas, then there's rubies, then there's it's tough. It's tough. Now it's starting to get tough to get in, because it's really tough.
Interesting.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. People don't get super focused on diamonds. Look at other gems. Other gems are super cool.
But at the end of the day,
and talk about a holder of wealth, other gems are better.
Which ones?
All other gems.
All of them.
Yeah. So
because
sapphires,
nobody's
rubies,
making
emeralds, and stuff like that.
Can you make
No, there
lab?
are. But they were made in the I think the first lab sapphires, by the way, sapphires and rubies are the same thing. It's just ruby is a red sapphire. So lab grown sapphires were made in the 1900s. So you see them in watches,
And you also can't tell a difference. You can't tell a difference between a lab. Or you can.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that you can tell.
Can you make a lab ruby or sapphire that's indistinguishable from natural?
No.
So that's why the lab will always be kind of trash comparing to the natural stuff.
I wouldn't use the word trash, but will be
value-wise.
Non-valuable.
Yeah.
So also they're way easier to manufacture.
How do they do that?
There's flux. There's other manufacturing methods. It's not a growth method the same as like a diamond is. There's just not as much work goes into it as making a lab grown everything else.
What about lab grown opal, lab grown alexandrite?
Lab grown opal is it's the same thing, just not worth. They're just not valuable because also it's not difficult to make.
And
so it's the difficulty of to make that makes a lab grown diamond more expensive than all this other stuff.
You know what that tells me? That once the difficulty of making diamonds goes away.
That's the thing, is that I don't think that's possible.
Why
right?
not?
Because
technology evolves.
Technology evolves, but we're talking about atomic structure. Right? So you cannot change atomic structure, right? So it's not like I can melt some stuff, right, and mix it together and make a diamond, right? Which is how you make sapphires and rubies and stuff like that. Is basically you just melt some stuff, mix it together, and then you have that stuff, right? Which is sapphire material, okay? Where diamond is one material, and that's carbon, right? Because you wouldn't lab grow charcoal, right? It's readily available. It's made out of the same stuff. It's carbon, right? You burn a tree, turns into charcoal. It's just mostly carbon at that point, right? So you're left with the carbon. So now you take that carbon and turn it into a diamond. There's only so much you can do that.
I see that. That's a good point.
That's the difference between all these other gems, which are like, it's like cooking a stew versus growing a cow.
That makes sense. It's a good analogy. But still, like with advancement of AI, I think we'll figure out just about anything.
AI is gonna have difficulty putting one carbon on top of another carbon. You can make more machines.
Industry?
That's what you could do. Is you can make more machines, but the thing is, it's still going to take a certain amount of energy to put to make it.
How is AI changing your industry?
That's a very good question. I would say maybe on the marketing side.
But what about on the
CRM side, on the chats, like, if you, and stuff like that, but when it comes to human interaction, you could go on ChatGPT and say, hey, please make me an engagement ring or something like that. But the reality is, this is a much more emotional purchase. And, there's still humans involved in that sort of sense, right? So now somebody can go in and say, I want a piece of jewelry that looks like this and blah, 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 blah. And ChatGPT can give them, or Grok or whatever AI
Inspire kind of
can
like,
give you an inspiration. Exactly. But somebody still has to assemble it, right?
What about the assembly? You don't think the AI machines can cut stones in the future, or
There are
Beautiful.
computer cut stones that are programmed by human to cut the stone.
maybe
right?
like A to Z AI manufacturing stones and everything?
Look, I think everything's possible, but this is also a very slow industry, right? So the jewelry industry, because it's generational mostly, is very slow to change.
Things have changed. Like now you see social media adaptation amongst jewelers like crazy.
Oh, I completely agree.
Some of the big ones like Trax NYC, he's killing
Again,
it.
on the marketing side and stuff like that, you're absolutely right. But
But
he
not on the
hasn't
development.
replaced any of his sales staff with Tesla bots yet.
Yes. Who do
So-
you think is winning in the social media space?
Ooh, the social media space is very interesting because a lot of people are popular for their charisma, right? Do not be sold by charisma. Charisma does not make you a trustworthy person. So always go with your gut. Don't just purchase by emotions, right? There are trustworthy people online and there are not trustworthy people online. And I'm not here to bash anybody, but all I'm saying is have a relationship with that person. Also, see what other people are saying about that person online. See, this industry is really, really, really small. I say there's less jewelers out there than there are doctors, right? When I go to a jewelry trade show, it's the same people every year. And if I go to the one in Miami, or I go to the one in JCK, or I go to the one in Hong Kong, I still see the same people because there's just not that many of us. So this industry is built on trust. The thing is, it's built on trust business to business way stronger than it's built by business to customer. Customers is an outside person coming in, and just because you have 30,000, 300,000, 3 million followers on either on any of the social medias does not make you more or less trustworthy. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, I think I have 1,000 followers on my Instagram. I'm also not very, active on it or whatever.
I think that's a
my
mistake. Hopefully we can
I'm
change it
sure
with the
you're
podcast.
correct about that. But the reality is I have a pipeline, right? And I have a very consistent pipeline that comes in that didn't come in from social media. So how difficult of a time did I give you to even do this podcast, to be kind of a public face of anything? I'm just not that, I'm just not that guy. I'm not, getting out there on 47th Street, New York and doing whatever. I mean, like I do everything on 47th Street that's done in person. I do that stuff over the phone.
By the way, did you notice how literally almost everybody now has their own channel on 47th Street? I think Moses got his friend, what's his name? Benny.
It's entertainment.
This one, and now they all have social media. They're piggybacking off each other, and it's ballooned out of control.
The watch industry specifically.
Oh, the watch industry has gone wild.
Right. So now that had, the prices have gone up so high and so down and this and that. So the watch industry, those guys had to do something different. Right. So social media was that something different because what happened was there was this huge hype during COVID. A lot of people were buying watches. They weren't buying vacations, so on and so forth. There was a lot of extra money that was around. Then COVID ended, and then a lot of these guys disappeared. They just couldn't, as the industry went down, they couldn't, they weren't doing the same volume as they were, and then there was this whole, so then social media came in and turned it into entertainment. Part of it, and that entertainment made it super popular. Now that popularity then converted into sales, and that's totally fine, and that's a really cool way of doing it, and it's really fun. Do you understand a lot of that stuff is fake? A lot. I would say
All the negotiations.
Yeah,
Funny thing is they sell
none-
to each other most of the time.
it's hocus pocus, right? So, or it was never sold, or so on and so forth, or maybe I'll do a negotiation with you. Okay, we're done doing the
And
negotiation.
then you film
Now
it.
we're going to change the prices, right? And then we're going to film it, right? So, so for me, when I see that, I'm like, is it dishonest? It's entertainment, but I don't know. It's not. I do not want to do that. I'm happy to do education online. I'm happy to do, but to follow through a deal, kind of is interesting as well. It might be something that I would do once or twice, but it's not like I'm going to take the diamond from here, I'm going to take it from there and do this and do that and so on and so forth. I mean, the reality is if you watch my timeline through a client, right? So I meet client decides that they want something, right? I source that. If I don't have that that diamond in stock, I source that diamond. I'm looking at between 30 and 60. And that would kind of be the fun part, is actually me going through, looking at diamonds, going to a different office, looking at more diamonds, politely declining diamonds from diamond dealers, and then going from there to the, going from there, showing those diamonds back to the client. It's very, showing the diamonds to the client being exciting, choosing their diamond, taking that diamond, taking it to my manufacturing facility, making the ring from scratch. Then after making the ring from scratch, putting the diamond into the setting, then from the setting, handing it to the customer. That is the process. To film that would be that would be a slog.
You would literally have to hire somebody.
And then also,
to do it.
The offices that I walk in, people are not allowed to walk into.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless you start wearing
I
those
walk
goggles,
into offices
like the Oculus.
I know, but I
Are
have to tell the guy,
Yeah,
right?
I
mean, I walk into an office. I'm not going to say their name, but I've walked into an office. There's $30 million on the guy's desk.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, I'm lowballing. There's 3 or 4 diamonds on his desk that are worth over $1 million each. That's $5 million, and then there's these stacks of boxes on his desk, and it says between 3 and 5 carat emerald cuts in this huge box, and it's just sitting on that box by itself is $7 million worth of diamonds in there, at least. If the box is half empty, it's still $5-10 million in there. And there's boxes and boxes and stuff like that just on their desk, and that person doesn't want to be famous. Right, because then
they get stalked.
There's a security issue. I mean, that's been my biggest reason of not wanting to be like social media famous. Is like, okay, well, then I'm gonna walk around with security. I'll never be able to wear a watch.
I hear all these stories now. People getting mugged and the.
Exactly. And do I really want to shoot somebody over a watch or anything like that? I just want to. I want to live my life. I want to educate people. I want to make jewelry for people, and I also want to live my life too. Right? So that's all. I mean, how many people in my industry have been not just mugged, but have been kidnapped and taken home, or been kidnapped in their homes, taken to their stores, and been forced to open their safes.
Yeah.
This stuff happens.
Insurance doesn't cover that kind of stuff, or they do?
They do. But do you really want to go through that?
No.
And who's to say that you're going to live?
Yeah.
It happens, right? So
crime's on the rise now too. Like people getting jacked with watches and all this stuff. I just heard
it's been happening in Orange County. There was a RM.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was in Irvine parking lot, not like right here.
Right down the street.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And the thing is, what's that guy going to do with the watch? Those guys are idiots, especially in RM.
Why,
like there's 10 of these watches on the planet. Where are they going to sell it? To who?
Well, just like the jewelry thing, maybe somebody knows.
Yeah, it's $200,000 watch. Okay, how much are you going to get for it? Maybe 20.
Because it's stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I have it, let's say some guy buys it. Well, you can't service it. Okay. You can't. So if anything happens to the watch is dead, right? You might be able to take it to a watchmaker to like service it, but not repair it.
So that
won't be able to repair it.
Same is true with Rolexes too, or no?
Rolexes are serialized, but the thing is, then you just can't service it. But and when you take it to the service center, then the service center will grab it.
Yeah, but like normal watch people will service it.
A watchmaker will service it, yeah, because they're not running it through, a database, because Rolex specifically doesn't make their database public.
And RM people normally don't service with regular watchmakers.
Regular watchmakers generally won't take in an RM, because if something happens to the watch, you can't just order a part from RM. RM wants to see the watch.
That makes sense. Kind of like Ferrari and stuff.
Yeah,
Very
for the
limited how
warranties and stuff like that. Yeah, and then also like you can't order this specific part that was made by RM. Anyway, from who? You can't order it from a third party company. You have to try and get it from RM. RM won't sell it to you. You have to send in the watch.
Do you do watches as well or no?
I dabble in watches. I'm more of a watch collector. But yeah, if you want a watch, I can probably source it for you, or I can tell you where it is specifically, and you just grab it yourself.
What are the brands that you really like?
Minimum Rolex. That's honestly the minimum brand that I would generally recommend, because most of my clients are saying, I want to buy a watch, but I don't want it to lose in value. Okay, so you can buy a used Breitling and for $2,000, and it'll probably always be worth $2,000. But will it go up in value? Will it stay? I don't know. But Rolex is not a stylish watch in the sense of that they change their styles very consistently.
Right.
So they usually have a style run that runs like 20 years until they modify it in some way.
And the collectors will pretty much get even the older. If you get a rare piece of a Rolex, then it's always going to hold its value.
Oh, my recommendation is always get an older one.
Especially
always,
rarer one.
Oh yeah, because the older it is, then the sooner it'll become vintage.
Yeah, and it's already ate up all of its depreciation at that point.
That's the thing is there's no depreciation in Rolexes anymore, because a 1985 Rolex Submariner sold back in the day for, I don't know, it was like $2,500. That watch is minimum $6,500, case alone, no band, no box, no papers. Just like, yeah, it's just, they've all appreciated.
What do you think about Land Dweller?
I like it.
I think it's cool. Have you seen it in person?
Yes, I've seen it in person. I'm not in love with it. I just love that it has an open case back, where you can actually see the movement now. It's really, really cool. It's the same.
Well,
with
they had
Daytona.
it on Cellini, I think, or
there was one Cellini 100 years ago. Whatever.
And
but the thing is, face up, it didn't look pretty.
Oh no, it wasn't Cellini. You're right. The new Daytona has open.
The new Daytona has an open case back as well.
Yeah.
So that they're great.
I think they're gonna start doing it on newer models. If I had to guess,
we'll see.
That's
yeah,
not gonna
I
be
don't. Again, I do not have a crystal ball.
The cool thing about the Land Dweller is the movement is insane. I think it's the best one that they've ever made, and also it feels good on the hand.
I think the Sky Dweller, in my opinion, is a nicer movement, but it's also more complicated. I like more complicated stuff. Yeah, I'm more into more complicated and more rare on the Rolex side. So, like, for example, today I'm wearing a Prezi. It's a 41. 41s, they only made from 2012 to 2017, something like that. Somebody will correct me in the comments, but they only made them for a short run.
I didn't even know they make 41s. I thought it was only 40.
Only for a short run.
Wow.
Now, and then they went from there back down to
That's
40.
Smart. Can I see it?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When did you buy it? What year is this?
I think that one's a 2014.
That's class.
I have to look at the receipt.
Very classy.
Yeah.
And it has diamonds on the.
That's what I had to get it. I had to.
Rolex puts good diamonds, I'm assuming, but they're all
D flawless. Yeah.
Yeah. And is that true with all the watch companies? They always use.
I don't know about all of them, but higher end watch companies will only use the really high end diamonds. So like Omega Plus will only use high. So Omega, and then what's above them? I mean, again, if you're gonna tier them, so then you have Omega, then you have Rolex, then after Rolex, then the arguments start. Then you have AP, and then so everything above that is going to have really high quality diamonds if it has diamonds in it at all.
I like the small independent watchmakers now. Just like H. Moser.
RBNF, H. Moser. Yeah,
Super
there's
cool.
some really, really cool, interesting stuff that's out there. My only problem with those watches is that, like,
You
I can go to
can't
the shooting
resell
range
them.
with this watch and not worry that
Yeah.
it's going to be broken. Where if I were to wear a Moser, Tourbillon, whatever, I'm not swimming with that watch.
Yeah.
This, I take it in the ocean, I swim with it, I do whatever. And I'm not, like, worried about it. I just throw it, So as you can see, it's got scratches, it's beat up, and then I've got this. I have a few other Rolex. I've never had any problems with any of my Rolexes, but my my smaller house watches, I've had to take them in for more service than I'd have liked to.
I have a Omega.
I'm not going to name who.
I have an Omega that my daughter picked up one time. I left her on the table. She was 2 years old. That was my fault. I left her on the table. I went outside into the patio. She picked up the watch, and I closed the door behind me like a glass door. She's like, "Daddy, take your watch."
I love it. And it's still working.
No, it stopped.
Oh, that one's not working.
Well, not only that, then she dropped it on the floor. I run to the thing. I look at it. It was minor scratches on it, but the movement stopped working.
Oh,
It's a chronograph moon phase Speedmaster.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to send it in, and they fixed it under warranty. Thank God.
Nice.
They didn't ask why it stopped working or whatever. I just said it doesn't work, and they fixed it. But then it stopped again. I sent it again, and they sent it back second time. Now it's out of warranty, I think. It's been 5 years, so I'm kind of...
But it's been working ever since.
Yeah. I barely wear it, though. I don't know. I just stopped wearing it for some reason.
Keep wearing it. You got to keep wearing it.
Yeah. I tend to wear some of my other stuff. Today I'm not wearing anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, come on, you're interviewing a jeweler today.
I came to work and I forgot to watch
Not even
it.
wearing your wedding band today. What is wrong?
No, I
with
never
you?
wear wedding bands. There's a thing like in Judaism about not wearing. Men shouldn't wear too much jewelry because that's what usually women wear. Watches, I see it as an exception to the rule.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Because like men and women supposed to dress differently, and jewelry is in the it's in the women's domain, so to speak. But people view it differently. Some people wear jewelry, some don't. The other thing is, I just hate having rings on my fingers. I have a wedding ring, and I have which I never wear.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you just get used to it after a while. That's how
it always bothers me, and I'm afraid to lose it also, even though it never comes off. But yeah.
So well, we got to change that habit.
Yeah. I thought about wearing a bracelet, but I think it's the same thing. I'd rather just wear a watch, nice watch.
I like having a watch. It's hard for me to leave the house without a watch on. It's just become habit.
It's practical also to have a watch. I just like the high-end watches. I'm always paranoid I don't like scratching watches. I know it's a very bad way of looking at it.
You just got to get over it. Like, it's like owning a nice truck.
I know.
You just got to beat it up.
I have another Omega, like the World Timer, and I scratched the crap out of that watch.
Yeah.
The crap out of that
and
watch.
then once every 5 years, get it polished, make it look like new.
Yeah.
And then
that's the one I wear the most out of all. And now I thought, I also like practical stuff. So I bought a Tissot carbon, what is it? PRX carbon. Super cheap.
All right.
But it's comfortable and it looks cool.
I can't.
If
it's not a mechanical watch, I'm
no,
not
it's
interested.
mechanical. It's mechanical.
Not.
It is.
It's a quartz.
No. The PRX.
The PRX is a quartz.
80.
Oh, the 80 is an
80 hour power reserve. It's actually.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's quite a good movement for the money. It's very cheap.
Oh, okay.
It's nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not know that they had a mechanical PRX. I thought they were all quartz.
The case is out of carbon. What is carbon something?
That's cool.
Carbon fiber material, whatever.
Yeah, so it's made out of race car stuff.
Yeah, if you take an equivalent, not too many watchmakers even use that material. That's like a $10,000 watch easily if you make out of carbon. I think.
Well, I mean, you have the APs have,
They have carbon?
Oh, yeah,
APs,
absolutely.
I don't think they have carbon.
Yeah, they do, 100%.
I've never seen AP that's
so
carbon.
I'll bring you one.
But that's going to be how much carbon AP?
It's just money. Don't worry about it.
Just
leave your credit card. Also,
I have 4 kids with one on the way.
American Express will take care of the rest.
Yeah, I got to feed the kids.
Oh, man.
Well, anyways, We've been almost talking for 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It just
Time
felt like
flies.
20 minutes.
I know. That's when the conversations are good. That's what it feels like. And I would love to have you back. We can continue the conversation. But the day must go on. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm super happy to. And next time I come back, I think we should be a little bit more narrow on the engagement rings, maybe helping people make a decision on what they should choose and what they should get.
I have an idea.
Sure.
Well, the holiday season's coming up.
Right.
Maybe we should do a follow-up episode not too long from now and bring some stones, bring some cool stuff to show.
Hey, you
And
guys,
we'll make
post in the comment if you want me to come back and show some fun stuff over here to Dimitri.
Like a shopping guide for people. I think it's good for holiday season.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Anthony,
Dimitri.
Thank you for coming.
Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
See you on the next one.
Thank you.